Hey everybody, this is Stacy Rossetti, and I'm back again with another RentRedi podcast. Make sure you check out RentRedi when you have time. But for now, I want to introduce you to another badass woman investor. This is the Badass Women Investor podcast, and I appreciate you taking a look or listening. And we have Deandra McDonald today, and I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Deandra McDonald.
Deandra, I'm sorry.
Yes, no worries. Okay. No, Deandra McDonald. I'm new to RentRedi. Just started in January. Very exciting.
Cool, good.
Or in
awesome.
December.
Well, welcome to the family.
Thank you. I didn't initially start as an investor. I started as just someone trying to desperately control my housing cost. And then it slowly blossomed from there. So I've been in the game for about 7 years. At this point, I have about 30 units I manage myself, another 20 that are co-managed, and then flips and such.
Where are you investing at?
I'm in Virginia.
What type of properties are you investing in?
Yeah, so I am obsessed with motels, like old motel conversions. That's like my bread and butter at this point.
I love that.
Yeah, so if you have driven through Virginia, you know it's beautiful, but it is highway crazy. And in the 70s and 80s, I guess there were all these buildings built up as motels for truckers or families, I guess, and people traveling before the internet. But they don't really have a place anymore. As people wanted to go to cities, they weren't staying off the side of highways. So these motels have kind of fallen into disarray. And I buy them and fix them up and then rent them out as small studios or efficiencies or like little suites.
Is that considered commercial? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then are you looking at like, is it like small multifamily? Are you like looking at cap rate and things like this, or how are you analyzing that?
Absolutely. So I wasn't always looking at cap rate. Like I know what all those words mean. As you get better, you come up with your own kind of criteria of what success is. And at this point, if the numbers are profiting between $2,000 and $2,500 on the low end a month, then I'm interested, right? My budget's $200,000. If it's making me $2,000 a month, then I'm very happy.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, well, that's 10 caps. That's good. Tell me a little bit about how you find these and like what your criteria is.
I like single level motels because I don't want to deal with steps, because I don't want to deal with snow and ice, or I don't want to have any electrical in my name if I can avoid it. I don't have to have any hallway lights. It can be efficiency or 1 bedroom. I don't do 2 or 3 bedroom for motel conversions. And I want them to be within 2 hours of my house. I'm based in Charlottesville, so that 2-hour ring allows me to not spend more than a full day out in the field if I have to do work. I'm under $200,000. I have a few places I look. I use my realtor, number one, so he keeps his eyes and ears open for me in case he sees something. Love Craigslist. There's a lot of people on Craigslist just trying to sell some stuff they inherited or found. LoopNet. And then at this point, it's my bigger mentors who have the 2, 3, 4,000 units. When they're sloughing off their lower properties, they give me a call because they know I'm tiny fish trying to keep up.
That's happening to me because I invest in storage, and I started out just like you and just bought like the smaller ones now. And so now we're moving on up. And I'm like, okay, this year I'm starting to sell all these little ones, like the little tiny ones off and stuff too. So it's exactly the same. And all my students are always like, I'll buy them, you know, so it's the same thing. So that's cool. Good. Okay. So you said that like when you're on like the motels are like, I'm envisioning the ones that are just like outside, the doors are outside, and then you just redo those to like efficiencies or 1 bedrooms.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. And then what type of tenant do you get for those?
Yeah, so what the most frequent is typically people who are retired, who are living on Social Security, and I get a lot of people on disability who, again, are on fixed incomes, so they make this set amount for the rest of their life. They want something that is accessible, and a lot of these places were already accessible when I bought them, right? Wider doorways, wider bathrooms, bars in the bathrooms.
Yes.
Kind of like no fuss, no muss. I don't know if that's the right thing. But, you know, don't need a lot of bells and whistles, right? Are happy with their space as long as everything is kept clean and tidy and neat. Don't need to have a lot of amenities, but that's typically the person. So the age, my community probably looks like a 60+ community when you're looking around. And it's just because those people have the consistent income and don't need a lot. And to be quite fair, need it to stay small in order to stay affordable, needed to stay cheap. So are not looking for big upgrades.
Cool. So the area you said, where do you invest in Virginia?
So central ring.
The Central Virginia area. And I would say probably, is it like, it's not primary market, is it like secondary or tertiary market, like country, or where is it? Okay.
Absolutely, because a lot of these people, a lot of my tenants aren't really traveling back and forth, or if they are, they're traveling to the secondary city.
Do you have like a rehab that you're doing on these a lot of times and stuff? And
Yes.
what are the budgets for those?
Absolutely. It kind of depends on what the property looks like. I am too afraid to do anything too structurally messed up, right? I'll replace a roof, but if the roof is caving in, then like, I don't know about that. But during the inspection, so based on the purchase price, number one, and then when I do my own personal walkthrough, I can pretty much eye a lot of the issues. Then I bring in my contractors or my professionals to tell me what the price will be to fix it. And based on what they say, if I can stay all in under 50 or 60 grand, because that's what I like to come out of pocket, then I'm good to go with that $200,000 budget.
And so then you'll buy something like between $200,000 and $300,000, put 50 or 60 grand to it, and then just hold on to it.
Yeah, so I'll probably buy something if I'm putting 50 or 60, I'm buying between 100 and 160.
Okay.
So that my all-in
Wow, so there's some out there that's price?
Yeah, that's what, it's great. So that my all-in price when I'm finished renovating is 200.
How many doors is it for like that amount of money?
Right now mine are 10 to 15.
Wow, and then what do you rent them out for?
Not very much. So the rent is between like $300 and $500.
Okay, good. So I mean, essentially it's the same kind of process as if you were going to do it on a house, except for you're just doing it on a motel. How did you even get into this?
Oh yeah, I got into it because I wanted to scale up, right? And I started with the motels because it was a cheap way to practice. Right? When I first started, I had 2 duplexes and I was like, well, I get how to run a duplex. I understand this works, but how do you run a 10 unit that's an hour from your house? Okay, well, this is cheap. So at worst, if my mortgage is $800, I can handle $800. And that's if 0 people pay.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a cheap way to practice. And then once I got it up and running and got bad tenants out and put the right tenants in, I realized it was really profitable and there was no one else kind of knocking on the door saying I'm willing to buy. So when I went to the next person and said I'm willing to buy, they were like, great, no one else is seemed
yeah, so I bet you this is a very good niche because like not a lot of people are in this niche.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the rents aren't high, but if you have so this is one of my investments, but if you have other streams of income, I don't need it to be super profitable because like you said, you hold on to it in 20 years, then I have no mortgage, and then this is just extra money.
How are you funding these?
Yeah, so the motels right now are just commercial loans. So I put the down payment
commercial
and
loan,
I have
like
and then
bank or what?
Yep, and it's just a 20 or 30 year loan with the bank. I pay for the renovations out of pocket. And I was gonna say the only difference between this and a single family home is I don't have to renovate the whole building at once. So I do the roof, right? Because that is whole building. Yes, but I can have 6 units rented, let those rent for a year to save the money to do the other 6 in the back. Because again, I don't live on this money. So I don't need it all to come in day one. It can be a slow burn, unlike a single family, which you like need to get it done in order to start making money.
Are there like a lot of people that are doing this?
Not that I know of. I'm typically the only person.
I've not heard of a lot of people. I've heard of a couple, but yeah. Have you ever thought about doing them as Airbnbs?
Yes, I have considered it, but they're just not in the market for it. So they're, again, because they're in the tertiary cities, no one's coming here. There are places closer to the sightseeing and the colleges and the museums. There's nothing around. A lot of these like in the country or in the cut, there's nothing really around for someone to stay. The only other real option that I've considered would be making them like an assisted living facility, making them somewhere that we can help people live if I wanted to switch, but Airbnb wouldn't work because no one's interested. That's why they failed the first time as the motel.
So I like this niche because you can get into it for the same amount of money that you can get into like with a house, and houses are so hard to come by nowadays and stuff. So I guess, do you do any teaching on this or anything like this? I'm just wondering.
I do. I don't teach about the conversion because I don't think that I'm good enough with that part yet to help someone who I can't see the work myself. But I do help people get into real estate and just get into like general investing, single family, smaller multifamilies. Those are easy to do because they're already standing.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think it's. I mean, I think it's definitely a good topic, and it's something outside the box. How do you see what you're doing with the motels? How are you seeing that, like, in the future, like with the downturn coming and stuff? Is it going to be good or better?
I think it's gonna be good. I mean, it's been great. So, and again, this is one of those. These buildings were not occupied, or usually are not occupied. And like I said, I'm typically the only offer on the table. So I welcome some healthy competition, right? But I'm the only offer. So it can't get worse for them than what it already is if nobody was coming. So it can only get better for me. I can offer a little less now, I guess.
Well, I think it's because you're in like those markets that are like out in the country and stuff too. Have you ever thought about buying something like, you know, like a nice like vacation one that you could fix up and then, or something like this, like nicer ones, or are you just sticking to the tertiary?
Typically just like out of my price range, right? If I'm going to spend $200,000 or $300,000 in Charlottesville, I'm definitely not making $2,000 or $3,000 a month off of that property. Just because between the taxes being a lot higher and the price being so much higher, I'm going to make a lot less. So I'm willing to take the 1 hour drive if it's going to pay me that much more.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Okay, good. I'm glad. I love this niche. This is good. It's out of the box. And I think people have to really start thinking outside the box over the next couple of years. So, okay. Well, I appreciate it. So tell everybody how they can find you if they're interested in getting more information on what you do.
Absolutely. So you can find me I'm typically on Instagram and TikTok. Those are my two biggest ones. And you can look for Deandra McDonald, which is my name, or you can look for Simple Real Estate, which is the handle. Either way, you'll find me. There's lots of fun videos. I like to teach. I was a teacher and I teach through humor because I didn't have that like hard ass mentality that some of the older teachers got to use. So humor was the only way to kind of get my students engaged. So I teach a lot through humor, give a lot of lessons. And then from there, if you want to continue with coaching or more personalized instruction, then you can reach out to me directly through one of those sites and we can set something up.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate it. So definitely another badass woman investor out to tell her story. So we're out there just kicking some butt right now. And I wish you the best in the next couple of years. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.